County Post Sports with Mike Stanley. Brought to you today by Angie Cox State Farm Insurance in Jefferson City. My co-host Andrew Briggs is back on with us. Andrew, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And we're going to talk about Jefferson County, last week's big win over Bearden, and of course moving forward, the playoff game against Smyrna on Friday night. Go back to the Bearden game, Andrew, and what a win it was for Jefferson County.
Yeah, huge win for Jefferson County. You can't even put in words how big that win was for them. Just in a confidence perspective and moving forward as they go into a playoff game. If they lose that game, that's a heartbreaker. They're down. But now they have the big win on a trick play, and they go into this next game with a lot of confidence and ready to win.
Right, yeah, you're exactly right. I think confidence means everything in the world to this football team right now, especially moving ahead into the playoff game. Like you said, the trick play is what won it. Jefferson County came out Friday night on fire. It was big play after big play. Opened it up. Ely had a big 46-yard return to open the game, and then the first play from scrimmage, Jenkins hit Snowden for 47 yards and a 7-0 lead for Jefferson County.
I think that was huge that 2 weeks in a row they came out hot like that. And I think we've talked about all along is Jefferson County coming out to good starts.
Yep.
That is the key, is they come out to good starts and it comes out for a better result, as we've seen all year.
Right. And I think the coaching staff realizes that as well.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the last few weeks, the coaching staff has taken more chances, has taken more aggressive approach towards the play calling, and for instance, Jefferson County faking the punt on their second possession, which Royster had a nice run off of that fake punt, and it ended up leading to another Jefferson County touchdown. And I think stuff like that is huge. It gives your team momentum, and it gives your team confidence that, hey, coach has got our back here.
Like you said, it gives the team a whole lot more confidence because those players see, well, they're trusting us with this fake punt right here that plenty of things could go wrong. Well, that means they're putting their trust in my hands, so go out and make this play right here. And so they do, and it's better for the team and the momentum, and I think that momentum has just kept them going for 2 weeks in a row, and hopefully it'll carry over for the third week, and it'll take them to a good performance against Smyrna.
Yeah, the Bearden quarterback was probably the best quarterback they've seen all season long. He had an arm. He had a cannon for an arm, and he found his receivers mostly all night. But I think the play that kind of put doubt into the mind of the fan base, one, and probably the players as well, was the quarterback draw for 75 yards. It was untouched, and he kind of showed off his wheels there.
Yeah, I think they'd been setting up that play all night, and they just waited for that right time to use it. Credit to Bearden on that play. They knew it was going to work, and it was shown that it worked, and he just outran everybody straight to the house, 75 yards, untouched. I think the crowd thought at that point, well, I think this is the end of the road right here. Right. And I think the players did too. As soon as Jenkins got that, on that next drive, got sacked, that you could tell just the players were like, it's over.
But it wasn't, and Jefferson County got the ball back.
Incredible stop by the defense.
It was, and then the play leading up to the trick play, again, found Close Snowden across the middle, was able to get down to about the 12-yard line, and then the play. They said they practiced it all week long, and it was kind of weird seeing Jenkins catch the ball for the win instead of throwing that ball.
Yeah, it was definitely weird to see Jenkins running under a pass like that for a touchdown. As he looked awkward as it seemed it was, but he caught it, and that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
But I think a big thing was Jefferson County had 3 timeouts. Those are huge factors. They had those 3 timeouts to use, and defense stopped them, and then also, and Bearden's coach calls a pass play, and a great play by Dalton Morgan, broke it up and stopped the clock. Jeff County took over about midfield and had good field position, and was able to go down and score, like you said.
Yeah, and that was there weren't very many fans that hung around after Bearden scored late, but for those fans that hung around, everybody was going crazy after that play. The sideline, the fans, the coaches, and I'm sure the student section was going crazy as well.
It was definitely crazy over there that because a bunch of people left. Like I had people text me and said, "Jeff County really win?" Because they thought it was something was up. But those people left, and it was definitely exciting just being in the student section to see that they won and made a great senior night too.
Absolutely, what a way for the seniors to go out. And for the seniors to have such a big night on senior night. You had Dalton Morgan have a great night. Jenkins had a good night. Colson Oden come up huge on 2 or 3 different occasions. And then, of course, the final play with Noah throwing back to Jenkins. What a way for the seniors to go out their last home game at Jefferson County.
Yeah, they'll forever remember that one. That they ran especially, I'm sure all of them will, but Noah did through that pass to Jenkins like that and it just ended that way.
Yeah.
But it was definitely one of those nights, that's for sure.
It was. Now, moving ahead, of course, they traveled to Smyrna this week for the playoff game, and Smyrna is 7-3, have played a really good conference, and they had a great regular season, of course, being 7-3, but the games that they won, they were close games.
Yes.
The games that they lost were close games. So they haven't really just blown out anybody all season long. And you got to think that kind of gives Jefferson County a little bit of confidence too.
Oh yeah, definitely. You've seen some teams that, Smyrna should have beat and killed. They only won at a couple games. They won by 7. One game they won by 3 against a team, or no, they had a 14-10 win against a team that was not very good. I think ended up with a 5-5 record over there too. But I think that's what gives Jeff County a little confidence is that they are a beatable team and they can go down there and beat them.
Well, yeah, and I think too the big deal with Smyrna is their overall team speed. I think Jefferson County will struggle with their overall team speed, especially at their place.
Yeah, I agree because Smyrna, that's one thing they are. They're fast. They fly around the field everywhere, and that's going to be a tough task for Jefferson County is to keep that speed contained. But I think if they do, it gives them a good chance because in the games they have lost, that's what's happened. They've not been able to run those big jet sweeps outside and throw it deep. And if Jeff County limits the turnovers and keeps the ball on their field, I think a big key is time of possession. If Jeff County can keep driving and wear their defense down, I think if Jeff County can just contain their playmakers and their speed, they'll be just fine.
Yeah, one of those playmakers is Casey Perkins, who is the Smyrna running back. Give us a little insight on Casey and what he likes to do.
Casey Perkins, he's a very physical runner. He has a lot of speed, but he likes to run off the tackle too. He's averaging 110 rushing yards per game. He's very quick, and I think Jeff County has to keep him inside and keep him with their front 7 there. And if they do that and not let him break free, they'll be just fine. But he's a very good runner.
Well, and Jefferson County has really done well against the run this year, with the exception of maybe a Delaney from Morrison West,
which is the run back.
Right, who had a big game. But it all starts like we've talked about with the start of the game. Delaney had a big game because he broke off an 80-yard run in the first play of the game.
It gives you confidence out the room.
Exactly. Another guy that they'll have to watch is Akena Okiki, who is a big-time Division I prospect, plays both sides of the football, particularly at safety. He's a 3-star safety, and Jenkins and Garrell and Noah and Cole and all the wide receivers will have to know where he's at all times on Friday night.
Definitely have to know where he's at because just from seeing film of him, he flies to the ball like no other. He's on one side of the field, he's to the other. And I think that's definitely going to have to be the one thing they concentrate on is where he's at because that's pretty much their secondary is him running around and flying around back there. So if you get him off the ball one way and then with the other wide receiver, which they've done well the past few weeks with Snowden, is teams have been keying in on Garrell and Noah, and he's been the X factor. I think he's been X factor all season, and he's been underestimated.
Yes, I agree, and they have used him the last couple of weeks in a big way, and it's helped this football team come up with 2 big wins against Dobbins Bennett and against Bearden. I do think with Okeke, he's going Division I. There's no question about that. He's visiting Penn State later this month. On the 20th of this month, he's going up there and visiting James Franklin and the crew. But I do feel like if they're able to contain Okeke and Mr. Perkins, that Jefferson County really does have a good chance at winning this football game. A lot of people have wrote him off as going over there and getting beat, and I think with the win last week against Bearden gives him enough confidence to go over there and believe that they can win against a good Smyrna team.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. If they can contain those two, I feel like those are their playmakers. They rely on those guys late game situations to go to. So the key's early, like we've talked about, and I think too everybody's wrote Jefferson County off. Like they think, well, they're 5-5. Sure, they have these 2 wins. But what can they do down there? And I think Jefferson County team has a huge confidence going down there. And if they do that, I like their chances in the ballgame.
We're now going to move into our Play of the Week, sponsored by Angie Cox State Farm Insurance in Jefferson City. And it has to be none other than Dalton Morgan. Had 3 catches, 2 of which went for touchdowns. 80 yards rushing. But as you mentioned before, probably the biggest play of the game was on the 4th and 5 when he was able to knock the ball out of the defender's hand that would have iced it for Bearden. He got the ball back for Jefferson County, and that was probably the biggest play of the game. Yeah,
he's one-on-one, man-to-man with that kid, and that kid, they just basically said, you got to make a play to come get it, and he made a huge play for Jefferson County, and he played great all night as the screen game was open. That really freed many other plays up for Jefferson County. That he took a couple for big yards.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, kind of what a way for him to go out. He's been bit by the injury bug his career at Jefferson County. And for him to be able to go out and have that kind of night with 2 touchdowns and then the play to, I don't want to say the play to win the game, but absolutely the play to keep the game alive for Jefferson County. And just what a way for Dalton to go out.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be special for him that, like you said, been hurt by the injury bug all his career at Jefferson County, and then really to make, not to make a statement, but to say that he was there and he made the big play and came up in the clutch for Jefferson County was very special, I can imagine.
Absolutely. Due to schedule conflicts, Dalton wasn't able to come on with us. But we would like to congratulate Dalton on a great career at Jefferson County and obviously for being named our Jefferson County Post Angie Cox State Farm Player of the Week. Welcome back to Jefferson County Post Sports with Mike Stanley. Moving forward into our Big Orange Breakdown portion of the show, brought to you by Volunteer Spirits, reminding you, if you drink, please drink responsibly. Now, Tennessee came off a huge win against Kentucky, 52-21, and it was just a big game for Tennessee because it was the next game. As Butch Jones always says in his press conference, the most important game is the next game. Well, this game had more importance to it just because it was Kentucky, it was a rival game, and it was the toughest game remaining on their schedule. So for them to pass it with flying colors, per se, is a big deal for the University of Tennessee. Gets them to 4-4 on the season with 4 games remaining. South Carolina comes into town this week, a struggling South Carolina team, before North Texas comes in the week following that. Now, Tennessee had a huge game, not only offensively, but also a huge game in the returning game as well. Evan Berry, of course, returned a kickoff. Technically, it was listed as a 100-yard kickoff return. It was actually about 106 yards, as he called it, halfway deep in the end zone. So about a 106-yard kickoff return ties the University of Tennessee school record. And then, of course, Cam Sutton with a huge punt return of 84 yards for a touchdown. That really broke the game just wide open for Tennessee, as Kentucky did hold a 14-10 lead in the contest. But Tennessee just really manhandled Kentucky from there on out after they did get the 14-10 lead. Again, Tennessee has South Carolina coming in, and South Carolina's offense has struggled all season long. They did show life a little bit last week against Texas A&M, falling to the Aggies 35-28. But I think if Tennessee continues to play well, they shouldn't have any problem with South Carolina and the Gamecocks this weekend. look for Josh Dobbs to have another huge game, as this was the game last year that Josh Dobbs kind of got on the map, as down 2 scores late in the game, brought Tennessee back to win the game in overtime, and it'll be mostly on his legs. Josh Dobbs has gotten better with throwing the football, and Josh Malone really has come on as the go-to receiver this year with the injuries to Marquez North and Jason Kroom and some other big-time wide receivers for the Tennessee. Against Kentucky, he had over 100 yards receiving. A very nice game for Josh Malone. Was a 5-star guy out of the Memphis area, and this is his sophomore year, so big things expected from him from here on out. Jalen Hurd kind of stuttered his way to about 60 yards against Kentucky. Not a great game for Jalen Hurd. Still a solid game, though, for the Tennessee running game and for Tennessee in general. Again, South Carolina this weekend. Kickoff will be at 4 p.m. on the SEC Network. You want to make sure that you tune into that and watch the Vols as they move forward, looking to finish the season 8-4. This has been your Big Orange Breakdown, brought to you by Volunteer Spirits, reminding you, if you drink, please drink responsibly. Welcome back to Jefferson County Post Sports with Mike Stanley. We're now moving ahead to our 5th quarter portion of the show, brought to you today by the Dandridge General Store, located in historic downtown Dandridge. Now, Andrew, I know last week we may or may not have made a wager on a football game that
We did.
kind of went against you. So, in honor of that, I have a hat here for you to wear, and I think you'll look very, very nice with it on. And it makes me not to wear that ugly blue color anyways. So I like that for sure. Now, make sure you got your tail. No, come on now. You got to put the tail to the side so everybody knows that it's
Tail
on.
to the side.
Yeah.
Alright.
Now, he is a true Davy Crockett now.
That's right. I'm not supporting Tennessee, just David. Just so everyone at home knows that.
Well, we'll move ahead. We start with obviously the playoff games this Friday night. Heritage at Morristown West, and I kind of know where you're going with this one, but I'll let you go ahead and talk.
Morristown West, I don't think Heritage. I mean, I think Morristown West has proved a statement, and I think Morristown West is a huge win.
Yeah, I do too. I think Morristown West wins big. I think Delaney has a huge game. Obviously, Heritage is a decent football team. Obviously, they're in the playoffs, but they're not to the level.
Yeah, they're not
to
to
the
the
West. Then you have Gibbs, who the Flying Eagles are flying into Sevier County on Friday night. I'm not sure they're going to be able to fly home though. Is the only thing.
Yeah, I think the Bears will tear the plane up when they fly in there. But I think Sevier County wins in a big one too.
Yeah.
Big games from Deuce and Devontae and Dorian Banks.
Yeah.
And Sevier County in a big win.
Yeah. I agree. Sevier County probably wins this one easily. I'll be surprised if it is a close game. Gibbs is a tough-nosed football team. Their coach comes from a background where he believes in smacking people in the mouth, so he's going to try to do that. But I think Sevier County's athletes are just going to be too much for them. You got a struggling Morristown East team who I have no idea how they made the playoffs. I think it was because of the Davy Crockett Daniel Boone fight last year.
That's exactly right, because they were suspended, and they both had the upper hand on Morristown East, but Morristown East played at County.
Right.
And Morristown East beat them, and so they went to the playoffs.
Right. So Morristown East traveling to Knox West this weekend, and another game that I don't see being very close.
Yeah, me either. Knox West, I think Morristown East just isn't any competition to them. So I think Knox West wins extremely big in this one, and not a close game at all.
Yeah, Knox West has got too many athletes, and they'll win this game pretty handily. Now, talking about our Patriots, Jefferson County traveling to Smyrna on Friday night. Who do you got?
I'm going to take Jeff County in this one. I think that they're riding on a big 2 wins, and confidence is up for them. And Austin's throwing it really well right now, and the running game has gotten better from where it was at. And I think Jeff County comes out early and smacks it on Smyrna, and I think Jeff County wins in a close ball game, 24-21. Jeff County wins, and they travel to the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I think Jefferson County has enough playmakers to stay in the game. I'm going to put this game, this particular game, I'm going to put it on the coaching staff. Okay, if the coaching staff stays aggressive, like they have been the last 2 weeks,
Yep.
and they're able to come up with a defensive scheme to stop Smyrna's offense and their speedsters, I absolutely think Jefferson County can win this game. I think though if they do win it, it's going to be a shootout. I think a 38-35 ball game, or maybe even up into the 40s, which I don't know if it'll get that high, but it's going to be an offensive game for sure. And I think Jefferson County does pull it off, and then they'll travel to Science Hill next week, and I think Jefferson County will be ready to play Science Hill this time.
I believe they will be too.
They came out flat the first time, and Science Hill obviously losing to Bearden 2 weeks ago. Dalton Bennett gave them everything they wanted last week.
Should have won.
And should have won that game. So I think the Jefferson County Science Hill game just kind of was, for lack of a better word, Jefferson County just didn't show up.
Yeah.
You know, and I think they'll be ready this next time. Moving into the college ranks, you got LSU at Alabama in probably the game of the week
football.
in college football.
Yeah. I think all year.
Yeah.
This is the game. I'm gonna pick Alabama. I think it's just too hard to bet against Nick Saban and his defense that he has. Even though Leonard Fournette is an extremely good running back, and not many people have been able to stop him, but I think if you just let him get his and you contain the rest of the team, that they'll win. And I think Alabama wins in a very close, low-scoring ball game.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be a low-scoring game. But I'm going to have to go LSU in this game. I think LSU is a little more of a complete team.
Yeah.
I think Coker for Alabama, you kind of don't know what you're going to get from him week in, week out. He kind of struggled against the Tennessee defense. Of course, LSU's defense is just as good, if not better, than Tennessee's defense. Of course, Jalen Hurd had a good game. And then you got Leonard Fournette, who is the running back.
Yeah, Leonard Fournette. That's all you have to say.
Yeah. So I think he has a big game, and I just think LSU makes enough plays. I do think it'll be a low-scoring game, and it'll be a close football game. But I think LSU comes out on top. Our final game of this week was going to be South Carolina at Tennessee, and this game is kind of just missing a little bit of something.
It is. It's missing the old ball coach in this one. He's definitely going to be missing this game. Yeah. But I think I'm going to go Tennessee. They've got confidence right now, and I think they come out and they beat South Carolina in a big win.
Yeah.
It's at home, and I expect big games from Josh Dobbs and crew, and I think that Tennessee hammers them in a big SEC win.
Yeah, I agree. It's just not the same without Steve Spurrier in the SEC.
In the Vikings, you'll always miss that.
Well, and him taking his little shots at Tennessee
all year
through the media and everything else. It's just missing something, you know. And I think he's going to be missed from a fan standpoint, from a coach's standpoint. He'll be missed. Mm-hmm. And I don't know where South Carolina's going right now. They're struggling.
Yeah.
And they haven't named any coaches yet. You know, so it's just kind of hard to grasp South Carolina. And I think Tennessee does win this game big. You know, they're back at home after going to Alabama to Kentucky. You know, they're back at home, and I think the fans come out in full force. I think South Carolina is in for some trouble.
I agree with you.
And one more thing before we go, I do like the hat. I think you should wear it probably every week from here on out.
I probably won't do that. I'll probably have to decline that offer. word.
It looks
Thank you.
good. I think it looks really good. It does.
It doesn't
flows.
feel very good. I mean,
But it flows. Like I can barely even tell you have it on right now.
really.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. It flows perfectly with everything.
Well, you just have to. I don't think you'll catch me in this again. This is a one-time thing, one and only time thing.
For Andrew Briggs, I'm Mike Stanley. Thank you guys for watching.